How's it going, YouTube? Crimson Sin here. We're going to be talking about an article that popped up on Kotaku. It'll be annotated and in the description below about a survey that went out from Ubisoft about Far Cry and potential settings or versions of the new game coming out. And they kind of wanted people's feedback on it. So I'm going to go over the different things that they mentioned and I'm going to give you my personal feeling about it. So at the very top of the list, a Far Cry game in the remote Alaska about surviving extreme wilderness. Sounds cool. Kind of reminds me of that. The movie was called Gray with where they are out there and they get crash landed and it's all snowy and everything. That could be cool. It seems very limited. Far Cry always had like a lot of different kinds of things to do. Being stuck in just the snow and about survival. Maybe they can implement like a food system, water system, warmth system, something that you have to constantly be monitoring to keep your character alive. But I could see that maybe getting tedious. But you know how they did it in the Metro series where you had to constantly be grabbing those air packs and everything so you can keep breathing on your gas mask because the radiation. I guess they could maybe do something like that. I could see that being fun to play, something different as the last couple of Far Cry games have been very kind of, I don't say tropical, but a lot of forest areas. Snow could be a cool change of pace. Next one, a Far Cry game in a futuristic sci-fi setting on another planet. That can be just completely a different game. It doesn't even have to be called Far Cry. I think if they went that direction, they're going to be calling it Far Cry, just so people remember Far Cry and will buy the game, even though it can be completely different. Sci-fi stuff, sci-fi weapons, they're going to keep the hunting aspect. Is it going to be super science fiction-y, like a Halo world or even like in Destiny? I think a futuristic, more of a cyberpunk, something like Ghost in the Shell, that kind of world would be pretty cool to do in a Far Cry type setting. But super futuristic, I don't know if I like something like that. On to the next one. A Far Cry game set in the Vietnam War during the 1960s. Hey, there's a lot of crazy stuff was going on down there in Vietnam. You could do a lot of Far Cry tends to do a lot of where the story parallels. There's two sides, but they're both got their goods and they both got their bad points. And in Vietnam, they could really easily do that. Show the American forces, and they always show like them doing good things and then them doing not so good things and bad things, like they're probably killing villagers and all that kind of stuff. And then on the other side, you have the Viet Cong, where you'll have the guys killing Americans and torturing them, but then they'll have families and kids. So like you got that ambiguity between good and bad and what's good, what's right. Far Cry, that's something that's in every single one of their games, and that setting in the 1960s during the Vietnam War is ripe for that type of narrative, that type of storyline. So would I like that? That could work. That could be pretty cool. Next one, a Far Cry game set in the cocaine trafficking jungles of Peru. It sounds like a lot like Part 3 already. They already had that, and again Part 4 had again to do with a lot of drugs with the poppy seeds and all that kind of stuff. That doesn't interest me as much as the other ones so far. I'd still play it because I like the Far Cry games, but that doesn't excite me in any way. On to the next one. This is where stuff gets where they're going in some weird areas, but here we go. A Far Cry game where you can fight against or join vampires. What? Like they're gonna just add this supernatural? There's always been a little bit of a supernatural element in the Far Cry games, but it's always been like through drug-induced stupors or mysticism and stuff like that. But to bring out full-on vampires, I don't know if that's something I'd want to do because then you can get vampire powers or something. I guess that they could do it. It could work, but I don't really see it as something that I'm like, oh, that's really cool. That's definitely better than all the other ideas. Definitely probably going to want to maybe pass on that one. I don't know. Next one. A Far Cry game in a spaghetti western style set in the late 19th century Americas. Hey, Red Dead Redemption, here we go, but Far Cry style. Definitely love the Old West. There's not enough Old Western games. I remember, besides Red Dead Redemption, there was Red Dead Revolver, which wasn't all that great on the PlayStation. Then we had Gun, which had a really cool story, just like not good gameplay. It just wasn't. I remember playing through it on the 360. It just didn't. The gameplay was a little lackluster, but the story was great. We definitely need more Western stories. If they went with this idea for the next one, I'm definitely behind that. That's a really cool idea, and that's something I think could be explored more in video games, is the Old West in America. Next up, we got a Far Cry game that is set during a zombie outbreak. Next. But seriously, no. Just no. There's been some good ones. I like the Dead Rising series. I liked Dead Island was alright, but it was lackluster. and then you have games like State of Decay and everything that are pretty cool zombie games, but I don't really think Far Cry needs to delve into that subgenre. It's not a very good subgenre, and to waste a whole entire AAA title on it just seems like a bad idea to me. Definitely would not want or be excited for a zombie themed Far Cry game. Next up, Blood Dragon 2, a sequel to Blood Dragon with more Rex power cult. Besides having the greatest name in the history of anything, I really like the Blood Dragon expansion to Far Cry 3. It just took the whole game, put it on its head, and just decided, hey guys, we're going to go 80s, early 90s action Terminator craziness with the storyline. It was just a lot of fun. Bottom line, what is a video game supposed to be? It's supposed to be fun. And the Blood Dragon DLC was hilariously fun. I would definitely look forward to that. As a full-blown game, it should be like the original Blood Dragon, just like a little add-on to another game that's just there. But either way, I would definitely would look forward to a Blood Dragon 2. Next up, we have a Far Cry game set in a Mad Max-style post-apocalyptic world. Again, that's all right. I can see that working. But it would be Mad Max. They could just literally call the game Mad Max and let that be that. Instead of just doing, it's like Mad Max, but it's not because they don't have the license or whatever. But I kind of want to see something a little more original. Don't do the guys wearing car parts for armor and doom buggies and everyone's fighting over fuel. Don't make it exactly like Mad Max. Take a little bit. Rage was kind of like Mad Max, but it kind of had its own flavor and everything. If they do it that way and don't take too much from the Mad Max genre of films, then I think that could be something cool, but definitely not the most exciting thing. Next up, a Far Cry game in the present day on a Jurassic Park style island of dinosaurs. That's cool. Dinosaur hunting could be really, really fun. I'm trying to think of the storyline. You got a guy trying to manipulate dinosaurs and use them as weapons, and you're going to try to stop them. So it's a very basic and a very overused. I think that might even be the freaking theme to the new Jurassic Park film. Like they try to make a super weapon out of like velociraptors or something. It just seems kind of contrived. But again, dinosaurs are cool. Everyone likes hunting dinosaurs and all that kind of stuff. That could be something cool I could look forward to. And the last one on the list is a Far Cry game based on the world of Shangri-La from Far Cry. I did not like those sections of the game. I mean, the story is cool. I mean, to learn, the mythology of what that world was and the mysticism and everything. My biggest problem, and the thing I liked the most, the thing I hated the most about it was done in native tongue. And that's really cool to actually hear the actual language of the people, but it's all subtitles. And I'm running for my life trying to kill things, so I'm not reading subtitles and trying to play the game. So I pretty much missed the whole story during the Shangri-La missions. I guess you're some warrior who went there to free the light, and there's darkness, and you had to prove yourself or something. I missed the whole story because I wasn't going to just sit there and read subtitles. I wanted to move forward. And while you're fighting, it's kind of hard to read subtitles while you're trying to kill things. A whole entire game based off that world, that's 100% mysticism, 100% mystical. I don't know. That sounds like something that could be a DLC pack with 10 or 12 missions, but a full-blown, all the way, just like I said with Blood Dragon, I don't really think they should do a full gigantic game on it. It really should just be an expansion of another game, like a little extra thing that you can get if you really want to explore that. So that's the list that they have for their ideas. I have a couple ideas of my own, like how I brought up earlier about a cyberpunk. I think would be really, really cool. I don't like the idea of a super clean future where everything's looks like an Apple store. Everything's white, and the deck of the Star Trek Enterprise with J. Abrams, where it's just so clean looking. I don't like that sterile look. I like a little more dark, more of a Blade Runner type future. Also, one they didn't mention I think would be amazing would be a Prohibition era Chicago. That'd be really cool. No one's done that yet. I've been dying for a GTA during that time, or it's just something because I think it's an interesting time period. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, a lot of crime. You can do so much with that. Then the town of Chicago just has a ton of history on its own. So I think that would be pretty cool. So you guys let me know what you think. Do you love these ideas? Do you hate them? Do you have some of your own? Leave it in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll have more videos up soon. See ya.